Representative Denlinger.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Colleagues, it is my contention that this budget faces the challenges that it meets the challenges that we face in this environment. Mr. Chairman and colleagues, we recognize that we're in an economic environment that is continuing to be very difficult. And quite frankly, Mr. Chairman, you're referring to chronically high unemployment. We recognize we are now in multi-year chronically high unemployment, particularly among Pennsylvania's youngest citizens, those graduating from college that cannot find jobs, our minority populations, a lot of difficulty out there. And for our friends and neighbors that are struggling to find jobs, this is a very real problem. We continue to struggle in our business environment. We see that. And what's the result of the chronically high unemployment, the weak business environment, is that revenues flowing to the state in the form of taxes continue to lag. And we're in a multi-year situation on that front. The result, Mr. Chairman, is very tough choices, and this budget represents very tough choices. I respect very highly the job that you've done and the entire negotiating team in trying to sort through the priorities of this state government. Obviously, some of my colleagues have referred to choices that they are not happy with, and certainly my colleagues on the other side of the aisle are doing the same. And yet, budgets are about setting priorities. They are about working through the tough choices and trying to strike the proper balance. This budget, I believe, represents a reasonable approach to these very difficult realities. Perhaps to the extent that all parties are unhappy at some level, we have struck the proper balance. Personally, I would like to see more in the form of business tax reform initiatives, those kinds of initiatives that actually get the economy going. We know we have the second highest CNI rate in the nation. We've projected revenue growth in this budget of 3.1%. I think that's a little aggressive given where we are on the economic front with the continuing worries that we face, and yet I believe that is an optimistic approach toward this budget, and hopefully we will not accumulate a significant deficit. The Chairman highlighted the deficit that we have at the end of this year, and hopefully will not accumulate red ink in this next budget cycle, but we are putting a 3.1% growth factor into this budget. Ultimately, Mr. Chairman and colleagues, I do think it is a growing economy that's going to get us out of the difficult situation that we're in, and I think it's going to take pro-growth initiatives in terms of business tax and regulatory reform to really turn Pennsylvania around. For my taste, there's not quite enough of that in this budget, but I am prepared to support it in the hope that in future months and in the next cycle, we can begin to put those things in place that will get Pennsylvania growing once again. For the reasons stated, I encourage an affirmative vote on this budget. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.